Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a really powerful concept, one that might just be the missing piece you've been looking for. We're talking about how shifting your core identity is the real key to manifesting anything you want. So, if you've ever felt stuck, this one's definitely for you.
You know that feeling, right? You're visualizing, you're setting intentions, you're doing all the things. But there's this gap, this quiet little voice in the back of your head that whispers, "Yeah, but that's not really for someone like me." That gap right there, that's where our dreams get stuck.
But here's the big secret. That gap isn't just about what you believe is possible. It's about who you believe you are. Your identity is kind of like the operating system for your reality. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to rewrite that code and consciously shift it to match the life you actually want to live. So let's call this what it is, the manifestation gap. It's that super frustrating space between what we want and what we have. And really understanding it is the very first step to closing it for good. Think about it in 3 layers. First, there's desire. That's the spark, right? It's your soul pointing and saying, hey, over here, this is the way to grow. Then there's belief. That's the filter your brain uses to decide, is this even realistic? But the deepest layer, the foundation of it all, is identity. That's the core story of I'm the kind of person who, and listen, if your identity doesn't align with your desire, nothing else really matters. You're just going to feel stuck. You know, I learned this lesson the hard way. I remember telling a friend I wanted to work in film, and she just kind of looked at me and said, really? That doesn't seem like you. And man, that stung. Not because she was trying to be mean, but because deep down, a part of me totally agreed with her. My desire was this big creative thing, but my identity was still the quiet, practical one. The biggest walls we face are usually the ones inside our own heads. Okay, so let's get into the science of why we get stuck. Because this isn't just some woo-woo concept. It is literally baked into our biology. And when you get this, it is an absolute game changer. Your brain is wired for something called cognitive consistency. Now, that's a fancy term, but all it really means is that your brain's #1 job is to prove your current identity right. It's a survival thing. It wants all your thoughts, all your actions to match the story it already has about who you are, even if that story is keeping you small. And think about how this actually plays out. If your core identity is, say, I'm someone who always struggles with money, your brain will literally act like a detective, looking for clues to prove that story true. It'll make you overlook opportunities, it'll sabotage a great new project to bring you back to the familiar feeling of struggle. It's not you failing, it's your brain being fiercely loyal to your past self. But the good news? We can give it a brand new self to be loyal to. So how in the world do we do that? Well, we use the brain's own incredible ability to change. It's called neuroplasticity. We're not going to fight the brain, we're going to work with it. We've all tried this, right? Standing in front of the mirror, trying to force an affirmation like, I am a millionaire, when our bank account is screaming, no, you're not. It just feels like a lie, and your brain immediately rejects it. So instead of making these giant leaps that feel impossible, we're going to build a gentle, believable path forward. We're going to build a bridge. And this just shows the difference so perfectly. A bridge belief meets you where you are. So instead of that jarring jump to I am wildly successful, you could try something softer, more believable, like I'm becoming the kind of person who succeeds. Instead of I am abundant, how about trying on I'm open to the idea that good things can happen to me? See? It just gently stretches your reality without freaking your brain out. A new belief is a great start, but it's still just a thought floating around in your head. To really turn it into a new identity, you've got to give your brain proof. You need action. And this next step is how we anchor that change in the real world. And the formula is so simple, it's almost sneaky. First, you pick an identity trait, not a goal, but a quality. Are you becoming more disciplined, more creative, more magnetic? Then you give that identity a tiny, almost ridiculously small habit. And finally, you just do the habit. That action becomes the evidence you feed to your brain. And this is everything. You're creating a brand new feedback loop. Every single time you do that tiny habit, your brain goes, I did this, so I must be this kind of person. You are literally building a new identity, one little piece of proof at a time. I'll give you a personal example. The identity I'm playing with right now is being magnetic. That can feel really big and abstract, right? So my anchoring habit is super simple. Every morning, before I do anything else, I put my hand on my heart and I just say out loud, my energy is magnetic. It takes 5 seconds, but it totally recalibrates my entire day.
Now, you can bet that as soon as you start to change, your old programming is going to try to crash the party. It's like static on the radio when you're trying to tune into a new station. So we need a plan for that identity static. I want you to start seeing these thoughts not as facts, but as old software just running in the background. So when your brain says, that's just not me, you hit it with a new command. That used to be true, but I'm updating my system. When that imposter syndrome creeps in with, who do I think I am? You answer back, I'm not pretending. I'm remembering who I truly am. You are literally debugging your own mind. And this is so important. This process is not about faking it till you make it. It's not about putting on a show. It's about genuine alignment. It's align it till you become it. You're aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, and your tiny actions until that alignment becomes your new natural state. All right, let's pull all these amazing concepts together into a super simple practice you can literally start using today to consciously design your new identity. I call this the Becoming Journal. It's your roadmap. 4 simple lines. You clarify the desire. You state your bridge belief. You name the identity you're stepping into. And then you declare the tiny habit that's going to anchor it all into your reality. This takes it from a vague wish to a concrete daily practice. And if you take one thing away from our time together, let it be this. This is the heart of everything. You don't manifest by chasing things. You manifest by becoming the person who already lives that reality. It's an inside game always. You become the person, and then the reality has no choice but to follow. So I want to leave you with this question. And I want you to really think about it. Forget about the huge goals for a second. What is one tiny habit you can start this week to begin anchoring the identity you are ready to become? Because this whole process starts right now with your very next small move. Thank you so much for joining me today. Just remember, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. Your new reality isn't something you need to go out and chase. It's something you unfold from within. The art of becoming starts with your very next choice.